Yo, 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 yo. All right, all right, all right. The levels look like they're happening as far as my little bar right here. Let me just make sure before we get into today's event. Make sure we're aesthetic. All right, I might just have to. Yeah, we should be good now. We should be good. I'll trust the level meter. I'll trust the level meter. I'll trust it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I go by HT or Mr. Olives or Jesus, depending how well or how close you can get to I. Welcome to HT Speaking to Himself, episode 17. Welcome, welcome. Let's just, make sure we take care of the small stuff, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. You already know what it is. And share if you care, if not. And if you find this later, come see what we got over here. Appreciate you. Thank you. Hopefully everybody's having been having a great week so far. Everybody's doing okay, well, getting better, health in order, and all that good stuff. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I haven't done one of these in a while. I haven't done one of these in a while. And for anybody new that find this, or if you keep coming back and you still don't know what the fuck this is, um, this is me really venting. This is me really getting into the depths of my mind and really kind of go through things that I most of the time keep to myself on a private note, even when I do share it with with ones I trust. I still don't share everything. So this is me really just, I guess I'm sharing it with y'all. So I'll tell you how it be. But my paranoia sometimes doesn't allow me to speak without code. So take it as you want as far as that part goes. But basically just really get some shit off my mind. This is why I don't do these often. These are just when I really just want to vent, talk my shit, get some shit off my mind in some real way. Just me. I'm a thinker in every aspect of the way. Of course, an overthinker at times, but I'm a thinker. So I I sometimes feel I get clogged up with these different thought processes, and sometimes through, just to regular pace of life that I'm at. Like I mix things, right? So sometimes like I just clear it out and I gotta say things out loud and really think about them. So it's just me getting some shit off my mind, my chest, my heart, my soul, whatever you want to call it. I mean, so thank you, welcome. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I hope today was a nice rainy day, so that's always good. The rain is always calming, you know. And welcome, man. We're probably gonna have to end up on Twitch somehow because I was bumping some shit just now. I wish I could have started the stream with y'all. Oh yeah, but before I go into into the into today's stream and what I'm sure if you are here, you see in the title. Make sure you go check out our 200 chicken nugget challenge with MTI crew and friends. Go check it out. Go see how it turned out. Eh, I can never eat chicken nuggets again. But go check it out. We went for it. Fuck it, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a thing, you know what I mean? So go check it out for me, please. And if you don't know by now, um, I love coffee in a real way. I mean, so it's not even in the shop, but I love coffee in a real way. And if you don't know by now, I have a little pour over series show. Uh, Mussing Cuppa pour over series. Go check it out. I just dropped the most recent one with this Papua New Guinea coffee bean, uh, close to Indonesia and Australia. High mountain elevation, volcanic soil, all that good stuff. Fully washed, live roasted. Flavor notes, caramel, chocolate floral. But if you want to know more, and know what does it taste like, what does it smell like, and why I cared enough to do a whole stream on it, go check out that episode. I try to master my pour overs. Go show me some love, especially if you fuck with coffee. Go show me some love because I definitely do. So make sure you like and go run those streams up. I'm thinking of after those streams, like specific episodes. I'm just gonna end up uploading them as video. Yeah, I think that'd be better and probably be healthier. But anyways, now we get into the privacy of my mind. I gotta be careful. But yeah, and then we didn't do a stream last week. It's all good though. But yeah, welcome everybody. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So as you see in the title, you see Mussing Cuppa, Mussing Cuppa. So if you don't know by now, that's kind of the logo, the identity, the monogram, if you will. If I make a monogram out of Mussing Cuppa, the the face of the deity, you know. Mussing Cuppa is technically and will be the coffee, the coffee carrier under MTI, to put it in that words, right? And that's why when you see me post anything, Musing Copa, short streams, anytime you see a short and it just says Musing Copa across the your vertical screen, that's because that's everything related to me, MTI, and coffee. Musing Copa, okay? Musing Copa. I love saying that word. I like looking at it. I like the sound of it. Musing Copa, right? So if you ever see that for me, that's 100% kind of my expression of what I plan and want to do as far as coffee and all that stuff. But it's also, aside from expressing my true love for coffee and my true appreciation and 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 how I consume it and use it as a tool to play a significant character in my everyday life, right? That's what musing copa kind of entails, encompasses, is this true love for coffee, like this really good obsession that I've had since I was a child, since, I don't know, I guess I could say like from 11, maybe to 12 and up, maybe 13 and up, around those times. My true love from stealing it from the only person I could, well, one of the person I could really only call Uncle Noe, you know? You'd always like get home from the raves and always have either a Dawes Blog or whatever other coffee shop he would stop by, and I would take it, put it in a different cup, warm it up in the microwave, and it was so good. Trust me, he was pissed. He didn't like that at first, but I get it now. I pull up with some coffee, I take a nap, and then I see you drink my coffee. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good choice. I was looking forward to that coffee, you know what I mean? I'm fucking with you. Damn, where I dropped that shit. Anyways, so that's encompassing that. And truly, I think unconsciously, aside from the obvious enjoyment I get from coffee and what does it do for my brain and how I use it as a tool, as I usually use any other substance that I consume, or chemical reactive things that can occur in the mind. But I'll get to that in a minute. But unconsciously, I'm using copa, it's kind of, it's an ode to that guy, man. It's an ode to my mom's younger brother Noe, right? And he's still alive, I guess, I think, right? But you know, sometimes certain humans, no matter what, no matter the time, certain humans never really develop strength, never really develop resiliency, never really develop true push, right? So no matter what, they're gonna crash and burn until the literal death, right? But that aside, as far as him and whatever his choices was, and when and this is like, I don't, like I said, I don't usually speak like this about those people. This people, I truly love them and I appreciate him for what he 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 brought to the table to inspire me. Aside from his personal choices, every human has. They can live as you please, do as you please, crash and burn, live long. Whatever you want to do, you could do it. But aside from that, it's an ode to him, to the inspiration he gave me, right? Because he was the first one to show me a lot of things. He was the first one to show me my first iPhone. He was the first one to put me in front of a laptop. He was the first one that he was fully adapted, Americanized, and would mingle in those worlds and that part of things and how he moved and all that, right? So it's unconsciously, I think I've been doing it as that, right? Trying to thank him, or if before he takes his last breath, kind of maybe he sees and sees that he was always truly loved and appreciated. He just never developed the strength, the courage, the resiliency to push on as far as certain things that occur in his life and his choices, right? But as an ode to that inspiration that at this point at 33, like I'm still talking about coffee. I'm trying to really get into coffee, but it was because of him. And like I said, if you go watch Musing Copa, the first episode of the Pour Over series, I tell that story, and that's how why I decided. Like I've been into coffee even before now. Coffee has always been a positive influence, a peaceful thing for me, a calming thing, right? And in hindsight, now that I think about it, because I knew he would get mad once like I stole his coffee, like because I get it, like I would be mad, you know what I mean? Especially after like not sleeping and pulling all night or raving all night. You want to take a good sleep, wake up to some good coffee. I get it, right? But even in hindsight now, when I look at those moments and I would run to my room or I run outside or I'll just run to the living room and sit down with a cup of coffee. Like even then, I think I was thinking, I was really understanding my thoughts as I enjoyed this coffee, right? So musing Copa unconsciously. It's an ode to that dude, to that man, you know, great-hearted. And as I said, just never developed the courage or the resiliency to pass on certain things in his life. Oh, we still love him, appreciate him. He's still around, he's still alive, I think. But it's that, and it's just, it's good to kind of have this permanent frame of like one of the few positive things that I had when I was growing up. I always thought I was important. I think those particular moments, like I would even say it's the reason why I'm even on camera. I even decided to make coffee, get into it, and really like, try to put myself out there with it. Like those simple moments where, in that time, in that frame, in that reality, just a little kid, right? Seeing a coffee shop, coffee to go hot. Always had cinnamon. You always put cinnamon in this coffee. That's probably why I like it too. I really love cinnamon, especially in coffee. Cinnamon is good for you, by the way. Do your research. Anyways, um, but just to think about how those simple moments, even though they seem insignificant, they seem idle, they seem miscellaneous, and you don't think much of them in the moment, You just kind of you just kind of live, you just kind of be, you just kind of drink your coffee, right? That's that's kind of the thing, right? But and that's why I've chosen to be in coffee, you know, or want to be in coffee or make coffee a serious thing of my everyday life, right? Because of those small moments that seem insignificant, miscellaneous. But look, here I could talk it to the internet about that. So it's one of the and don't get me wrong, I had plenty of positive moments in my life too, right? But that one was significant, right? So if he does ever watch this or, anybody tells him like hopefully he knows it's to that, it's because of him and it's in reality it's a ode to the potential that if he would have developed that resiliency he could have been or done or still be here or maybe he could let her literally would have been on my show as we make a pour over, you know what I mean? But yeah, so That's what Musin Copa is. That's the beginning. That's and like I said, and maybe I might have to rerun that story back because the quality on the pour over series has gone way better. So maybe, you know, I'll run that back on that story as I make a pour over, right? But yeah, that's just that moment. It's like, damn, at 33 led me to want to make pour overs, get into different like world class beans. I literally have my V90 behind me, you know what I mean? My pour overs, you know. This is the one from the last episode, by the way, the Colombian bean from Last Coffee. Go check that one out. Still good. But don't worry about it. Go check out the stream, man. So that's one part of musing Copa. That's one that's why I've chosen to do that. You know what I mean? And because and as you could tell, I'm not really on the internet like that, besides this, right? So if I'm gonna turn on a camera, I'm gonna attempt to display as much as me as I allow myself to display. Like I said, at this point is in my DNA to talk in code. So it has to mean something. And I think I said that at the beginning when I first started this whole idea, this studio, you know, streaming, making these videos, this and that, right? I have to be connected to somehow. I can't just, if I don't like it, I don't like it. Like I have to really like it to allow myself to be displayed in this manner. In the second part of using Copa, the expression, the action of this word, of this identity, of this thing that I'm trying to create and develop and make a tangible thing, starting with the content side of things, of course. Musing Copa is also the expression of how I enjoy coffee, how I like coffee, why I drink coffee. Musing Copa embodies why the way I interact with coffee, the way I drink it, the way I make it, the the way I view it. Because musing copa, as you see the word musing, and it, you know, it has double meanings, but you know, I'll leave you nerds up to that. But it has double meaning. And one of the meanings is, like I said, even at the beginning with with my uncle Noé, I use it to think. I use it to heighten and alter my brain. Like I said, I truly like as much as I trust me. What was this? What was it? Like the fact that I can make a coffee, a pour over, and it looks black to you, but I could tell you it tastes like raspberry, and it really does. And for the people that have tasted the coffee, it tastes like raspberry, but it just looks like black coffee. Trust me, that's enough dopamine to go fucking crazy. Aside from that part, I use it to think. I use it to process ideas. I use it for development in my brain. I use it more as a tool than recreational. Like it's a tool. Like it helps me in a lot of ways and it really helps me think. But if anybody really knows the history as far as like coffee shops, that's where intellectuals went to go have their coffee and tea and really, you know, talk business, you know, talk real shit, talk ethics, talk morals, talk philosophy, you know. It's in those coffee shops. And before it wasn't a coffee shop, it was just a cafe where you either serve tea. In some places they would smoke hookah and drink coffee. You know, I think that's to me, as far as the history I know of coffee and tea and just cafes, that's always been the idea. You know, the coffee shop, the cafe, that's you go talk that intellectual shit, you go talk that philosophy, you go talk that great idea, that business, or you just go vent with a friend or a loved one that you appreciate and share a beautiful cup of coffee. But it's always been that space, right? And that to me, metaphorically, and maybe one day literal, or even my little set you guys see me with the Musing Copa show, like it's it's one of my tools to think, to really sit down in the way I enjoy it, and why I've chosen to start with pour over. We are eventually gonna, I'm eventually going to explore everything else, espressos, latte art, and all that stuff. Definitely I am. But I want to start pour over with the pour overs because first I love the ritual of it, forming some would say of it, right? And the whole process of it, the filter, wetting the filter, weighing the beans, spraying the beans, grinding it to the right texture, and just slowly pour extremely hot water, and wait for it and let it cool down so all the flavor notes really start calling your name. But we are going to visit everything else. And before I move on from Musing Copa, or I move on from Musing Copa, this is kind of what I've wrote down as far as how I'm gonna display and express it. So, Musing Copa is the act of existing in depths of one's mind, driven by world-class coffee beans, as each episode of Caffeinated Thoughts paves the way for clarity in the next move. So right now, that's Musing Copa. If you like it, if you mess with coffee as much as I do, show me some love. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm gonna say it now. Eventually have my own bean or my own beans. I want to become a roastery before I become a coffee shop. Yes, right? Oh yeah, now before I forget, because as I'm looking at my fucking map of today's show, I'm gonna talk about Mexico, right? And I really think I should do just like a solo episode on the pour over side where we get into this. But coffee has always been has always been closer or part of what I am even before I knew of it, right? Because in Mexico and other Latin countries, and as if you watch the poor series, Africa, if you have the right um, altitude, the right soil, right, you can grow beautiful beans. But we in Latin America, Mexico too, there's a lot of coffee. There's a lot of production there, right? There's always been, right? Colombia, right? That's why the last episode was a Colombian bean. And I think coffee, as far as what I am and where I come from, it's closer to me than I ever thought it would. It's almost like a part of me. And that's gonna be interesting because when we get to that point, you know, that might sound like the opposite. But that's how my mind is. What can I do? What do you want me to do? Hang me, fuck, bruh. But yeah, that's Musing Copa. And that's kind of what I was thinking about it. That's what I kind of wanted to express, all that good stuff. But make sure you like and subscribe. Ah. So, rap album. Rap album, ladies and gentlemen. Rap motherfucking album. Do you not, or do we not understand the power of a extremely well crafted rap album from top to bottom? And look, trust me, I'm not here for you to come for the hip hop content. No. But when something excites me, something that gives me good energy, gives me good inspiration, makes me feel good on my drive that I can't stop playing back to back. I'm using it for all my shorts. I'm about to play out the shit out of this Clips album, right? So look, I'm not the hip hop content guy. So, but but if you know me, I truly love hip hop, and when something does something to me, I'm gonna speak about it, right? Just don't get used to it. That's all I'm saying. But the power of a great rap album is priceless, son. Like, oh my God. Let God sort them out album. Damn, like it's it's up there with Mr. Morale's and then Kendrick's last album that he's touring now with the after the battle, and then it's the clips. And look, there's a we like I've always said, right? Because I definitely get it. We live in an era and a time and a reality of this pre-dystopian time that whatever you like and want, you can find it. And you can find variations of levels of quality within said preference. And it's no different for hip hop. There's a lot of good music. You just gotta learn how to find it. You just gotta, you gotta, your YouTube algorithms gotta be up. You know what I mean? You gotta know how to use them YouTube algorithms. But anyways, there's always good rap. But we got to understand, and even why Mr. Lamar's whole thing and the run, the fucking run he's having, stadium tours and all that shit, and on just pure fucking raps. It's because it's, as far as my observation, a good writer, good rapper, a good person that has musical awareness and understands and has some real creativity. Like, for example, another great album, I'll shout out. Damn, but I'm not even gonna remember the name. So, but a good rap album is nice. It's appreciated. Someone that truly loves hip hop, and I mean like rap, heartbeats, bold ass writing. I'm not even gonna call it rapping, just s- real writing. Writers rapping. That's what the clips are. That's what the Kendrick. That's what Nas is. That's what Biggie is. That's what Nipsey was. That's what Jay-Z is. Writers, right? That can rap. A real rap album with a true story, and you could just hear the timelessness of what this music will be in the care for and the true attempt of having real creative moments through the real story we're trying to tell happens. I've been playing the shit out of this album. I can't stop. Like I said, it's all over my shorts, bro. Every time I make a short, I'm like, fuck, I can't use another clips. I almost used the same song for a different. Instead, it was gonna be a different part. But that's how much I like it, and it gives you this energy. Like when you hear great writing, and on top of that, a true story. God damn, bro, like good, good. This is good because I like the other stuff too. Don't get me wrong, I like the vibes. I get it. But when it comes to this rap hip hop shit, those beats need to be hard. Those also need to be even harder. And that writing has to be fucking movie level Scorsese mob movie vibes. You know? Yeah, and I forgot who said it, but I think it was either because I was watching one of the clips interview. I think it was on Fat Joe's and Jada Kiss new show. And I think Pusha said it actually when he was speaking to Fat Joe and Jada. And those two names, like it comes to rap, I know certain people don't really think that of Fat Joe, but when it comes to like real raps, especially in their prime, Jada still drop a feature, if with those fucking words, with that flow, with that raspy voice. And I mean, shout out to the Locks. But he said it, the clips, and I think that was the perfect way to put it, the way Pusha T put it in that interview. The clips albums or this type of rap music is is similar to have you ever heard somebody get really hype about mob movies or mob shows? And they love mob movies, Casino, The Sopranos, Godfather, and you know how they get like real passionate? And that was a perfect reference he made to his piece of art. And I agree. It's that level of shit. It's like when Scorsese makes a movie. And I think even Pharrell said that the Irishman was a big inspiration um, for producing and writing to this album. But it's just, oh my God. I love great writers that can rap on crazy, timeless beats, bro. This is what this is. On top of having a true story. And when, and of course, no, I can't even say that to be honest. I'm not even going to say that because when you hear certain lines, certain verses, certain rhymes, certain like storytelling things, you could feel it. Like yeah, I'm not gonna really go into specifics of that, but I could feel it. I could feel a lot of these words in these verses. Like sometimes feel a little too much where, a little PTSD kicks in. I'm fucking with you. But you know what I mean? You could feel it. And that's refreshing. That's some good energy, some good, to let you know things are not too crazy, right? We still got some real fucking rap in the Clips album. Malice coming back and Pusha T. If if, if you're a hip hop fan, you don't know about Pusha. I don't know what the fuck you a fan of. You're a fan of pop music, bruv. Does that too, by the way. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. There is a lot of good rap music. Don't get me wrong. If I looked on my Apple Music right now, I can give you three or two rap albums that you probably don't even know the artist, but it's great rap music. But how these things work and how we're gonna get it to the masses and make it pop, it has to be a perfect combination of that and marketing and on top of the raps being sick and the beats being timeless and just the storytelling be just there, we have to have the right point of marketing, the right rollout, right, as they would say in that industry. And and due to Pusha T's solo career, I think they were able to do that on top of Pharrell, I think of course. But the clips and I was playing it to their other albums because I've been a long time Clips fan and Pusha T fan. Shit sound timeless across the board. I was listening to Mr. Me Too, right? I have a funny story about Mr. Me Too. Fuck it, I'm gonna tell it. But when I first heard that song, and you gotta understand, if you know me, there's a reason why we have the BBC astronaut back here. Like Pharrell was like, bro, when he had the ice creams in those videos, when he was wearing the BBC, he's wearing all that babe as fucking whatever age I was, but little ass kid. And back then, you're not you needed a super plug, right? It got easier, right? But like the level of inspiration like Pharrell has done for me in my life in general. Like that's why I always say that. And that's another thing I've been thinking about. Yeah, Kanye West definitely lost his mind. And shout out to Ye, but he's gone. He's always to a certain level. He's always gonna make great sounding music. That's probably the only thing that's gonna keep whatever the rest of what he will do will be, right? And he's great, and he's also a heavy, heavy influence. But now, as the Batman saying, you live long enough to become the bad guy or something. I don't know. I forget the exact quote from the movie. Jay-Z quoted it too. But anyways, like that's why we have Pharrell. Like, yeah, it sucks that Kanye West lost his mind and doing all the shit he's doing. Shout out to him, but I guess. But that's why we have Pharrell. And Pharrell, in reality, for me, because you gotta understand when Kanye was like really doing his thing, I was like listening to a lot of Jay Z. I was listening to like that. Like Jay Z is the reason why I listen to Kanye West, but I was mainly on that. Like of course, and trust me, his influence and his his clothing influence and style, timeless, priceless, right? But he literally has lost his mind, obviously. That's why we have Pharrell. And Pharrell, to me, because it's before Kanye, like Pharrell was out, you know? Pharrell was like, yeah, Pharrell showed me a lot of things early. Like right? And in that Mr. Me Too, that video is iconic. And I was playing this the other day on my drive back to the house. Still sounds timeless. And for a while, I couldn't listen to that song. So I remember when I did listen to the song as a little kid, and just how excited I was, and just seeing the visual, the bandana over the face with the ice cream hat, like bruv. But I used to be around certain people, and it kind of messed it up for me, to be honest, right? Not to go into specifics. Obviously, those people don't exist in my reality anymore, right? Out to them though. But I still love that song a lot. That was a special song for me, just visually. Like, bro, I was the one who told me about NSXs, bro. You know what I mean? And I love that whole idea, even with Nego, Human Made, BBC, all the shit he's doing at Louis, like just having that futuristic state of mind, being ahead, making things for your, like what they say, making things for your 16-year-old version of yourself, right? Like, that's why even this shit's timeless, bro. BBC Blush. But before I stray too far from that, but yeah, what the fuck is going on? But the Clips has a great album. You want to listen to some good hip hop, some timeless beats, some great fucking writing. I guess if you like that, I mean, if you like pop music, country music, stay over that. It's probably not for you. But good rap music, top tier fucking writing. Ooh. And one thing why I've always been a Pusha T fan, or like a Clip, the darkness of it. What Malice has this line, I think is in Whips and Chains, where he says, "Oh, you can't breathe no more," and he like laughs. But I'm butchering like a motherfucker, and I still can't pick my favorite song. I like every song, I truly do. POV, Whips and Chains. I love the hook on Whips and Chains is so special, and not just because they have Kendrick on it, and Kendrick fucking murdered it, bruh. White plastic all over. You know what I mean? To keep it clean. The hook is very deep. And if especially if you're not a hip hop fan, but if you are, hopefully you understand the depths of that hook. Because surface level, if you just listen to it, sounds like a bunch of ignorant shit, but it's really not. It's so deep. That whole song is so deep. It doesn't sound like it, but it really is. I guess though I love that hook, but I also love the Stove God hook on FICO. I love how Pusha T comes into FICO. I use that part for the last pour over series short that I did. But yeah. Shout out to Clips, man. I love when I can get some good rap. I just love it. It just warms my heart, makes you smile, gives me energy, inspires me. I love it, bro. This is great. It's motherfucking great. But what's next on the gauntlet here that we gotta go? That we gotta make sure you like and subscribe if you're in this bitch. Boom. Oh, real quick, side quest. I forgot why I haven't been writing as I want to, or as I imagine myself doing so. I don't feel like the words I could put together right now are good enough. And I've been putting words together. Like, I got a bunch of shit in my phone. I got a bunch of shit on whatever journal I have at the moment. But the writer's block's because I truly don't like the words I'm putting together. Like the Musing Copa, the The little quick little I read, Mussing Cuppa is the act of existing in the depths of one's mind, driven by world-class coffee beans, as each episode of Caffeinated Thoughts paves way for clarity in next move. I like that for Mussing Cuppa, but at the same time, I don't like it. I think it could be better, way better. And that's why I think I've been having fucking a writer's block for like 2 to 3 years now. Because I love to write. That's why I think I revere when I hear good writing or I read good writing, right? Or somebody's so well spoken that how they speak is how they write, you know? That people that, when you just hear, they just have that texture to their words, you know? It's just like, but yeah. So I've been having writer's block. I gotta get better. I don't like the words. I don't know. I just don't think they're good right now, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, before before the morning or the sun finds us. So the last thing you see on my title on today's episode is my Mexico disconnect. My Mexico disconnect. And for most people that know me and all that stuff, I'm not saying nothing new, right? I think I am saying it in a different position, right? In a fully developed position as far as my piece with all that. Um, but I think as time continues to happen, or not happen, simulation, I don't fucking know, right? But as time continues to seems to go, I don't think I have any true connection to Mexico. I don't. And I guess, and for many, I love being Mexican. I love speaking Spanish. I'm always gonna do that. I'm always gonna tell you where I was born, that I'm Mexican. And I love my family. You're right. I just told you a story about mi tío Noé. Shout out to you, know. I hope you're doing okay. Mm. I'll always be those things no matter what, right? Because that's just what I am. But I have no true connection to Mexico, man. I really don't. I just don't. I don't. I don't. To the degree that I don't even think I want to go back and see where I was born. Like I don't. Doesn't make sense at this point. I don't have anything like because there's some people, they spend summers, they go on vacation. People that can leave their country. If type vibes, dreamer forever. I mean, but yeah, like I'm okay with that. I truly don't have no connection to Mexico besides where I was born, and that I will always claim it. I will always speak Spanish. I love my mom, love my family, but me, just as an individual, as Jesus, I don't, and I don't think I care to be honest. And trust me, if you're hearing this the first time for me, sounds crazy, sounds ignorant, right? But it's how I feel. Because you gotta understand, like, it took me a really long time to accept myself as a Mexican and accept my culture. There was a lot of delegating, a lot of fighting, a lot of upgrading to certain cultural norms that I never fucking agree with. Still don't fucking agree with it. By the way, still talking the same shit since I was 10 about it, right? But obviously, I got to a point where I accepted it and I'm proud of it. Like I said, I'm always going to be proud of being. Siempre voy a hablar español. Eso no va a cambiar. Siempre. And hopefully other languages, right? But aside from that, that's it. I don't have a connection to Mexico. Like, and 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 I thought, and it kind of hit me. My mom recently asked me this question. She's like, basically said, "What happens if it goes sour in the U.S. and it gets really bad?" And I smile because you know, me and my mom's relationship has always been weird. way better now. And I've mentioned it before. But in times where she learns to, acknowledge certain things about me, it's nice to hear, of course, right? Because I'm human, bro. I'm her son. I'm her first son, what you expect. But when she, once in a while, she chooses to peek down the curtain, you know what I mean? Show me some human shit. Shout out to my mom. Love you though, mom. Te quiero. Um, she asked me a question like, what would you do if it just goes sour? And what she meant by that is, I have a worker's permit, bro. I'm a dreamer. A lot of nightmares. Haha. So, if I can ever establish like citizenship or residency in this country, right? And I smiled not just because it felt good, but I smiled because I'm like, don't worry, mom. Like, I'm probably gonna end up in Europe or Japan or something, or a country that I can work towards like developing a citizenship. But Mexico is not even a thought. Like, no, like I don't want to and I can't. It's just I've seen too much. I don't know what to tell you. Like I was raised in America. Like I was raised in certain environments. I was forced to grow up quick. I experienced certain things way too fucking soon. I seen my own family fucking lose their minds in front of me, i.e. Manco Noe. Like I got to see that. I got the worst version of the culture that you can present to somebody. And don't get me wrong, there's people that love that shit. There's people that lived and died by that were literally born here. And my respects to you and keep doing your thing. But I don't have any real individual connection aside from that I was born there. Siempre voy a hablar español. Siempre voy a querer a mi mamá y a mi familia, like, que es mi familia. But aside from that, like, I don't really give a fuck about Mexico, bro. Like, I don't. And if it does go sour for me in this country, like, I'll be in Europe. I'll go to Spain, go live in Amsterdam, to go in Japan. Like, I'm ready for that. Like, that's fine. How things are going, everything's getting shaky. Everything. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. And I stand by that. And I don't mean malice on my own culture, my own people, because like I've said before, I love it, but I love it in the way where I'll do what I can do to help, but I don't think I can ever really partake in it in that way as other people do, or even want it, to be honest. And that might be the fucking American. I mean, I don't fucking know. But yeah, I'll never have a true connection to Mexico. It just won't. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Mm, I will continue to do my part as making sure the culture goes a certain way, and my fellow Mexican Americans do what they got to do, and make sure we hype them up, get them to those levels, and have certain conversations with certain youngins. I'm always gonna do that until I don't, right? And I think that's where I want to end this today's stream. 33 now. I think I mentioned this at top of this year. At some point, I'm not gonna care. At some point, I'm not gonna care to tap somebody's shoulder and be like, "Look, think about this." And I've been saying this since the beginning of this year. I'm just not gonna care. I'm gonna really just do me. But as long as I care, we're gonna talk some shit. But at one point, I'm not care. I'm not gonna tap nobody's shoulder and be like, "Look, think about this. No, no, no. Do you know this is going on?" At some point, I'm not gonna do that no more. And that kind of goes with that statement. My Mexico disconnect. I'm okay with that. I can make peace with that. I don't think that makes me less of a Mexican or a bad Mexican. That's just what I got to experience being here since I was 3 years old, you know? Hmm. Feels good to say that out loud. Yeah, that much. I tell you that much. Man, I wish we could play music, but we on YouTube. We'll get fucking copyrighted up. Ass. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much if you find this, if you were here. If you liked it, I appreciate you. And even if you just watched it to hate, that's what the internet's for, right? Available to everybody. Thank you too. Make sure you like and subscribe. I go by HT, Mr. Olives, or Jesus, depending on how well you know me or how close you can get to me. This has been another episode of HT speaking to himself. Hopefully, everybody is good out there, world, and all the multiple universes out there. See you on the next